Hello, everyone. It's Rebel Lee coming to you with another episode and another podcast from the Ridge Raiders. Today, we're going to be doing Season 2, Episode 3, The Rustlers. October the 12th, 1979 was the date it was aired. Some of the settings in Hazard County this show was Tolliver's Farm, Board's Nest, Hazard County Fairgrounds, Kittredge Mine, Bronson Canyon, Lulu's Room, Hazard Police Station, and Hazard Garage. And I'm joined here with Wally. So, Wally, how was your week?
Now, what did you say the date was on this one?
October the 12th, 1979 is what I have wrote down.
I got October 5th.
Huh. Well, I don't know. I have to look at that. What did you get yours from? IMDb? Yeah, I did mine on like a wiki thing, so you're probably more right then if you got it from IMDb. So, well, what did you think about the show?
It was okay. There was some things wrong with it, but
what was wrong with it?
Starting out when they're driving down the road and Jesse's in there and they're singing. Jesse just did not look like he was happy to be there.
I thought that of Bo. I thought that he was, but think about it, man. He's cramped up in that back seat, that small little space anyways, crawling out of there. I wouldn't be happy if I was him either, being old. Instead, like he said, why didn't we use the pickup truck?
Yeah, why all food when they had the pickup truck?
Yeah. Actually, that was one thing that gave me the feels. I loved that right there, the opening and them singing Amazing Grace. I did. I thought that was a little extra specialness to the show for me. But, so what else did you have a problem with? Since you don't like religious music, so, okay, we got that down. Now, what else was it you wanted to That's what you just said.
Don't make me. Hey, I said Uncle Jesse didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
Like he was not happy with it.
Okay, Wally. Well, we'll go with that. So what's the other thing that you didn't like?
The fact that they're got horses there and they're revving up the engine, and you know those horses are going to get spooked.
Well, it did a little bit later. But I see your point there. I wondered that too when I first watched the show. I was like, how's that not going to scare them whenever they rev up that car? And anybody who's been around a Mopar knows that they're not quiet.
Yeah.
So, okay, so strike two, and what's the third strike that makes this show out for you?
I didn't say it was out. I just said there was a couple of things wrong.
Okay. So a couple, not three? I thought you said there was three things.
No, I said a few.
A few, okay. Couple's all right. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I'm biased, I guess, because I saw this and I was like back to me being a kid again, I guess, because I love this show. This is like the favoriteest of mine that we've viewed so far. For a lot of different reasons. But you said it was okay, so let me hear your take on it first.
It was okay show. It was actually better than some of the other ones, but it wasn't the best ones.
So you want to tell the audience the whole, like, premise of what the show was about, the whole, like, you know, the whole story?
Pretty much it's Dukes go in with this guy that's got this horse that can outrun the General Lee. And so Boss Hogg finds out about it. His wife wants the winning horse. So he's trying to get the horse from this guy to do the bait and switch and try to arrest Dukes for rustling when there's other guys that's actually doing the rustling.
Dunlap, I believe, company, correct?
I think that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much like you said. That was the whole premise of this episode. It was all about this what, Lulu Stakes,
Yeah.
or the Lulu Stakes race, the Lulu
Yeah.
Hogs, and JD.
Yeah, just remember that if Lulu bent over, they'd throw a saddle on top of her.
That's what Boss said when he was talking to that hustler, yeah. But also, he's promised her a horse, and she brought it back on his face about, and we saw that episode where he promised her the Rolls Royce that turned into a cube, and I don't think we saw the one where the mink coat was something else and that got her all eat up or something. But
that was possum or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the autograph? Huh?
And it smoked real bad?
Yeah. Did you see the autographed photo she had of Boss Hog there? In her room?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it was there that, I forgot what the description said, but yeah, it showed that while she was talking on the phone. Wally, I don't know a whole lot about cars and especially electronic stuff. Maybe you can help me. How in the world did she talk to him on a landline while he was on a CB in his Cadillac?
You got me. But if you notice, the bank guys in this episode had a car phone.
I did not catch that. I did not catch that.
Yeah, they were sitting there calling the guy to make the deal for...
I remember the phone call, yes. Now, let me ask you this. Did it show them riding that car at any point other than that van until the end?
No.
So where'd that car come from?
I have no idea.
And where was the horse that they were going to sell J.D. Hogg at the beginning? Where did that go? You know?
It never says.
No, if they're hanging out at that Bronson's Canyon, there's no horse thing up there or anything. They only have a trailer. Yet, they had him writing out a check like the horse was right there at the, in the truck, in the trailer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, even though they didn't say it, we'll pretend, we'll help them out here, that they traded that horse for that car. We'll go with that. Because that's the only way that makes any sense whatsoever. When they stole that van, Bo and Luke, and they stole it, or actually I guess you could say Bo, and Roscoe was in the General Lee. And then all of a sudden they come out with this car. That's the only thing that makes sense is they traded that horse for that car. So, yeah, that was the one that I kind of couldn't get behind. But you know something, Wally? This should have really been the Roscoe show. You want to know why?
Why do you say that?
Well, one, this is where they call him Roscoe P. Coltrane. And they keep that from now on in the show. They keep the P in there. And before I get to the other, did you ever figure out why they only had one cop car? You know, Enos at the beginning, Enos was driving, and Roscoe was in
Roscoe was in there with Enos.
Yeah. That was
it
strange.
never said. I was wondering that myself.
That was a little strange to me. But, luckily, I don't have... Huh?
Maybe Boss had to sell it to buy the car for his cousin Cletus to blow up.
That's probably what happened then. But you know something, Wally? Me and you will never ever be caught having to ride together in a car. Thanks to Oldsmobile. It's not your daddy's car. You can go to your Oldsmobile lot anytime and pick out one of the best quality vehicles you'll ever drive. But let's go back to Roscoe. Did you know who the actor was that was playing Tolliver?
Not right offhand.
He was on another movie. I think you might have watched it, called Cannonball Run. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if
I've
you
seen
watched.
that.
I'm not sure if you watched that or not. He was with Terry Bradshaw in that race. His real life name is Mel Tillis, and if you notice, his daughter was like a pretty good looking girl. Or, I don't know, you might not have thought so, but I did. I thought that the daughter looked really good.
You talking about the blonde in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a hell of a nurse.
Well, in real life, Mel Tillis has a daughter called Pam Tillis. I don't know if you've ever heard her sing, but
Sounds familiar.
she sung "Let That Pony Ride," but you would probably know more like maybe it was Memphis. That's probably the song that you would be familiar with if you heard it. Now that girl, oh yeah, she is Hello Nurse and everything else all together if you ever look her up. And even today, she looks beautiful. But
I'm looking at her picture right now.
Yeah. I crushed on her when I was a kid. So I like
She's got really good, nice blue eyes.
In real life, he did okay too, just like he did on this show. But I say all this to go back to the actress that played Tolliver. It took him 5 years. And this is why this was Roscoe's episode. It took him 5 years in real life for James Best to get that girl to say yes. But when she did, he stayed with her until he died. They stayed married, I don't know how many years after, but it took 5 years from this show, and he proposed to her. So, thought I'd throw that little tidbit in there. There was something else I'm trying to think of that was like kind of didn't make sense. Oh yeah, they clocked that horse with the General Lee. You remember that part, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going 40 miles an hour in general while the horse outrun them.
Okay. So you know that horse was pretty fast, and Manassas, I believe was his name.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fastest horse. Because when Roscoe pulled up and he hit that siren by accident, Manassas took off. Okay, Manassas had a good few seconds ahead. I don't know what the name of that stud was that Bo jumped on, but it caught Manassas from a little bit of a back part.
It wasn't Bo that jumped on it.
It was Luke.
You could tell it was someone completely different.
Okay, whoever jumped on it, don't matter. That horse had a few seconds head start, and that horse caught up with it to where she could jump off onto the other horse. Now you tell me, which one would you want to run in a race? Just say. Did you catch that? Because that horse had to be a lot faster than Manassas.
Yeah, that's true. Much like when they got to the fairground and they were getting ready to get arrested, they handcuffed Boss and Enos together, and then they jump into General Lee and start taking off. Did you see them? They sit there and got to the entrance and stood there and waited for Roscoe to get in the truck in his car, get it turned around, and start after them before they took off again.
That's because they were cocky and they knew they could outrun him, I guess. But there was some crimes committed by the boys today. There was some driving that I don't know if you caught it or not. When they came up on that poor lady's clothesline, they tore up her yard. They tore up her yard, and then Roscoe.
Yeah, they tore up her yard. Roscoe's the one that tore up the clothesline.
Yeah, but Roscoe was going to be the nice guy, step out, and say hi to her, and I guess he was probably going to ask, could he fix it until she threw water on him, old bat. But that wasn't the only thing they did. They trespassed. They trespassed all over the place on people's property looking for a horse. They didn't have permission to go into them barns. But they sneaked around in other people's property and was looking around. So, once again, Hazard County hoodlums. I do like how they negotiated their way out of jail. That was slick. Whenever you bring a man's wife into it, no matter how bad you hate him, no matter how bad you hate him, you've got to acquit him.
Yeah, how'd you like how Lulu was going to punish the boss if she got wind of it?
Yeah.
She got move it to his bedroom.
His place. Now, she put down food just as good as Boss did in the show.
Yeah,
she was. She was throwing down some stuff. But the thing that got me was I didn't understand that at the end, this was the last thing I didn't quite figure out. At the end, was what was the deal? What was the agreement? You had, at one time, Jesse and Bo and them were going to sacrifice, I think, important things for the General Lee's mechanic stuff to enter the fee for the guy. But then, you there?
Yeah.
But then, Boss Hogg tried to negotiate something. So I wondered if that was not agreed upon because of the horse getting stolen or whatever. But then I see Boss giving the $500 entry fee, like he said in the negotiation deal. But then they say he won and he gave the money to Boss. But in the agreement, Boss said he wouldn't even take the money. He would just kind of, if he let him in on it, he would give the entry fee and he would, make everything right by what he owed him. So it didn't make no sense on that to me.
Boss was going to throw in a lot of money on bets.
Yeah, Roscoe blew that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know where you won't blow things? You will not blow your money at Hills. Hills everyday low prices, people. If you get a chance and you need something in your department store, they got Betamaxes, 8-tracks, all your electronic needs. And as always, for the kiddos, Hills is where the toys are. Anyways, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything to add? Well, actually, I do have one other thing.
I got a couple of things.
Okay.
What does a horse eat for dessert?
Yeah, I don't think Roscoe's much on raising horses. In fact, another week they wouldn't have to worry about Manassas. He would have been too fat to have ran anything.
Yeah, and you notice that when they got to that one spot where the horse was, and they started pulling up, they still had plenty of time to jump in general and take off. But they just stood there and with their hands up.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, other times they would jumped in there and gone. But yeah, I also noticed that poor old Luke, he's so used to coming out of the passenger side, and he pulled up in the general drive, and he went across and got out the passenger side.
Yeah. You notice every time they jump in it, there's no seatbelts either?
Oh, no. But I don't think it was required at that point in the 70s.
I don't think seatbelts were required until 80s.
Yeah. So
90s, something like that.
Yeah.
And you know that by the time they got that horse out of that thing and got him to the fairground, that horse would be out of energy. There's no way he could race.
Yeah, that was the other thing that got me. But it wasn't a race. I figured that out. I looked at that. It was just to register. Because I was like, well, why did it, next Saturday did it win the Lulu Stakes race? So I had to go back and look at that one myself. But, so apparently you had to have the horse there to register by 5 o'clock. Which it looked to me like there was a fair going on, which I guess it could have been. You know, fairs have different things throughout the week, so I guess that makes sense. But yeah, that one bothered me too, to where I had to go look it up. You have anything else?
Nope, that's all I got.
Well, we're speaking about fairgrounds and stuff. I do have one other thing. The actress that played Tolliver's daughter is Dorothy Best. She's going to be at Cooter's 25th anniversary coming up this July. If anybody's in that area in Luray, Virginia, just about all the cast that's alive is going to be there. Sadly, you know, Roscoe's gone, Boss, and Jesse. But Cooter's going to be there, Cletus, Tom Wopat, Catherine Bach, the guy that played Huey Hogg, and like I say, Dorothy Best. I don't think I'm leaving anybody out there. The two that are alive that won't be there, from what I see, is Enos, and I know he hasn't done any appearances since COVID, and I understand that he don't want to get sick. And John Snyder, which I would say he's busy and wouldn't have been able to put it on his schedule, but there's going to be a lot of the actors there, and they just announced that Confederate Railroad's going to be singing on Sunday. Tom Wopat will be on concert on Saturday. It's at a fairgrounds in there if you want to look it up, but I just wanted to put that out there for anybody. Let's see. I think that's all I have, Wally. Other than salute Mel Tellis for his awesomeness with his two daughters. So I think that does it for me. And you said you're finished, so there's only one thing left to do. Keep it between the ditches and yee-haw!